Of all the adjectives to describe democracy, which stands for giving the people the right to choose who's in charge, the man who stood up to take over the White House didn't pick fair, stable, or strong.
Democracy is sometimes messy. It sometimes requires a little patience as well. But that patience has been rewarded now for more than 240 years with a system of governance that's been the envy of the world.
Just messy, or it's just gotten way too messy in his country?
We have received reports of many irregularities. We believe that there are dead voters that have been counted.
This is fraud. This is absolute fraud.
Trump campaign says they're going to court.
The Biden campaign says it's ready for court fights.
Protests by Trump supporters and a series of vote fraud allegations by the president himself.
Trump will go to war over this election, and that is dangerous for this country.
There's quite a list of things appearing as cracks in the system. Take the mail-in voting. In times of COVID, when the nation was meant to rely on it, at one point, the Postal Service warned it couldn't cope. The president flushed the method altogether, saying it would lead to a rigged poll. If you read some of these pieces, there have been plenty of such, the media has been questioning the confidence in U.S. democracy. Europe's been watching the mess in the wings with raised eyebrows.
The deep polarization of America should be a warning for Europe. We are successful because we bridge differences between countries and peoples, so we benefit together. If we lose the ability to compromise, our democracies are in danger.
What's happening in America does not quite correspond to the democratic culture we know from the United States. It's important that the result is then accepted by everyone. It's easy to be a winner, but sometimes it's hard to be a loser.
Trump's late-night speech puts a question mark over his possible second term in office. It is hard to imagine what this second term would look like when the president directly called for the abolition of the rules of democracy. His call to stop counting votes is a blow to the essence of American democracy.
Here's a voice of concern from allies Japan.
We can say for the United States to get into turmoil and confusion because of the election is a minus for its allies and like-minded countries.
But perhaps the most fascinating thing to observe is the sneer by America's foes. After so many times Washington told them how wrong things are with their elections.
What a spectacle. One says this is the most fraudulent election in US history. Who says that? The president, who is currently in office. His rival says Trump intends to rig the election. This is how US elections and US democracy are.
We do not interfere in the internal affairs of the United States, and we hate it when they pretend to give lessons in democracy to the world.
Disputes, chaos, and refusal of election results were supposed to only take place in developing states. Things have changed. All this have occurred in the US, which is no longer synonymous with a stable, civilized, and consensus-based society.
Now, just for a giggle, let me read out one tweet. It's an official one. Country A calls on Country B's leaders to show commitment to the democratic process and rule of law. We urge all parties, groups, and individuals to engage in inclusive dialogue to find peaceful solutions to their disagreements, to heal national divisions. Full stop. It's a tweet by the U.S. Embassy, Country A, in Ivory Coast, Country B, from November 4th. Oh, the irony.
There's a reason a lot of Western European nations stopped doing mail-in ballots a long time ago. France stopped in 1975 because the process is rife with fraud. And I have to tell you, I think it's incumbent upon the Trump campaign to say, Al Gore took 37 days to litigate Florida. We're going to go litigate and we're going to demand recounts. Some are going to be automatic, obviously, in Georgia, but in Wisconsin, in Michigan, in Pennsylvania, in Nevada, in Arizona, we want to get to where we have free and fair elections, where every legal vote is counted in a trustworthy and transparent way. The American people deserve it. I was wishing and hoping that last night Trump was going to look into the camera and say, I'm demanding a free and fair election that the American people can trust, not for myself, but for you, because you deserve it. And I think the scary thing in all of this is, at the end of the day, no matter who ultimately wins, half of the population of America is going to think the election has been stolen. That is a very dangerous place for us to be in as a country.